All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Nice looking Monday. Hope you're doing well. Robin, how are you at wine pairing? Are you good at that? The
no.
art of pairing wine with food? No.
No, I'm not. I just drink white or red. I don't know particulars.
Well, I wonder if maybe it is a personal thing, but we do have experts out there, and we have one of them on the phone. He is Brian Phillips. Somebody who is an expert at that is called a sommelier. Am I saying it right, Robin?
I don't know. I honestly don't know how to pronounce that word.
We're going to talk to Brian Phillips about the recent trends in wine and wine pairing. It's a subject, obviously, neither one of us knows anything about. Brian, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning to both of you. Great being here. Thank you.
Yeah. So if we go someplace, can you come with us?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'll be your tour guide anytime.
Well, I mostly want you to be there for the guy who pretends he knows, because I could pretend, but then I would obviously be really foolish looking, wouldn't I?
Hey, that's half the battle, man. You know, that out. Always look like you know what you're doing, right?
Are you with the Capital Grille?
The Capital Grille, yes.
Tell me about that.
Capital Grille. And you, by the way, sommelier, you're very close, Larry. Thank you. Thanks for trying to say that. I know that's a tough word. So by all means, wine guy works just the same.
Sommelier?
Yeah, sommelier, yeah. But
okay.
Really, anybody serving you wine is sommelier. It's really not that complex of a thing. It's just an old French word. But, so with the Capital Grille, you know, I know you were talking about how do you pair wines. That's always a very complex topic, and there's a lot of rules. You know, I say, hey, come into the Capital Grille, join us for the Generous Pour Wine event that's kicking off today, and let us do all the work for you.
Oh, really? Now, yeah. but doesn't everybody have a different taste, or does it usually hit the mark on most people?
You know, there are a lot of different tastes, and you know, there's no arguing that. You know, some people just like to have good wine with good food. Nothing wrong with that. That's a great pairing. I'm a fan of that as well. But I do think that in order to have a great, like, wine dinner type experience, you need to try a bunch of different wines and step outside the box a little bit, maybe different regions and varietals you're not so used to. But you'll come away with an overall greater, you know, time, experience, and takeaway.
So what is the procedure? And forgive me for not knowing, but I mean, do you take a bite of food and then a sip of wine, or do you wait until you're done with whatever it is you're eating?
You know, I do like to actually have a little bit of food and drink the wine down with it, you know, but everybody is a little bit different. I think that ultimately it's how the palate feels as you're eating. So matching the weight of the wine with the weight of the food. If you're having shellfish or light seafood, you want a light, crisp white wine, for instance.
I like white wine. I love that. That's my most favorite, and my mom loves the rosé.
Yeah, you know, rosé is one of the big trends right now, and this is the first time for the annual summer wine event that we've actually featured a rosé in the lineup. So we're doing GoldenEye Rosé of Pinot Noir, and we're seeing just rosé skyrocketing right now. Everybody's into it, everybody's loving it, but it's year-round. It's not just summer anymore, and I think it's very versatile with all types of food.
How about fruit?
You know, for the fruit, I think rosé and fruit, summer fruit coming out, you're getting those strawberries, those cherries. I think rosé is the perfect match. You're sitting by the pool outside, can't go wrong.
We have a wine. We have more than one winery around here, but the one that comes to mind is called Lake Ridge Winery here in Florida. Where are you calling from, by the way?
So I'm in New York right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but I live in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, do you? So are you familiar with Lake Ridge?
I am, yes.
Okay, now they grow their own grapes, and is that a kind of grape that is specific to Florida, and therefore is there wine specific to here?
You know, there is. I think one of the things that Florida does a lot of is fruit wine because fruit grows so well there, but there is actually indigenous varietals in Florida that were here before people arrived. And, you know, the Mustang grape is one of those varietals. There was a varietal actually created at Florida State University called Blanc de Bois, and that grows along the entire Gulf Coast. And so there is things that do really well with the climate. Florida has a very kind of subtropical climate, so it's a challenge to produce wine, but those varietals do very well.
Wow. Now tell me about the event that you're talking about from Capital Grille. Is that something we need to travel to get to?
No, so the Capital Grille, every Capital Grille is featuring this summer event. It starts today and goes through September 2nd. And for $28 with dinner, a server will come over and create a, personalized wine dinner experience. So you don't have to worry about what wine goes with what. Whatever you order, they're going to find the match, and they're going to take you through all 7 wines. And we're featuring the wines of Dan Duckhorn. Now, Dan Duckhorn started making wine in Napa Valley, and he's expanded into different regions of California and even all the way up into Washington State with his Red Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon. And so, a lot of people know Duckhorn Cabernet Sauvignon, but maybe they haven't tried a lot of his other wines. And so this is an opportunity to really get to know this producer and what they do as a whole.
Okay, so the one closest to us would be in Orlando at the mall at Millennia, correct?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. But if you're in the far away listening areas, I think the next one would be up in Jacksonville somewhere. I think I'm looking at the map.
Yes, Jacksonville if you're in the north, and of course down south we have Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
But yeah, so we're by the major cities, and with these 7 wines, you really can get in there, and it's just really a great deal. I think it's one of the better wine deals out there that we feature throughout the year. And so Duckhorn Sauvignon Blanc, Duckhorn Cabernet, really popular. But then you can get into, say, the Pinot Noir, which I think is another one of those varietals that people should really go to when it comes to the diversity of how that wine can pair with a lot of different foods. And I think getting into Washington State, a lot of people overlook the Cabernet Sauvignon there, but the Canvasback Red Mountain Cabernet Sauvignon is my favorite wine in the lineup this year.
Okay, so I was going to ask you if you could give us a cheat sheet, something we can just take, like memorize real quickly. What can you give us a quick pairing, something we can memorize?
Yeah, so let me just kind of go through it really quick as a flyover. So Duckhorn Vineyards Napa Valley Sauvignon Blanc, start off with that with your salads, maybe your calamari and seafood dishes, move into that rosé of Pinot Noir with some of maybe that tuna tartare as an appetizer. Decoy Chardonnay, lightly oaked Chardonnay from Sonoma County, classic California style. I think we'll go with all types of seafood. Migration Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir goes with everything. You could have that with a steak. You could have your filet mignon with that. You could also do something lighter like salmon, perfect. Duckhorn Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, one of our popular wines that a lot of our guests are into at the Capital Grille right now. Perfect with a dry-aged porterhouse or maybe that Kona crusted strip. Canvasback Cabernet will really work well with, say, the New York strip or a ribeye. And then the Paradox, which is a really fun wine. It's a classic Bordeaux blend, but they throw a little bit of that iconic California varietal in there called Zinfandel. So it's a little bit of a different take on a classic Bordeaux blend that will go great with lamb.
All right. I have a phone call and I have a text. Let me do the text first. Chilled. The question is just one word. Chilled with a question mark. Do you chill the wine?
We want to serve the red wines at cellar temperature, which is 55 degrees. The white wines, especially rosé, I think needs to be a little bit cooler. We like to serve that at about 45 degrees.
Okay, that was the text one. Let me give the phone call to you. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yes, good morning. After I opened up my bottle of rosé and I don't finish it all, does it need to be refrigerated? And what is the shelf life of an open bottle of wine?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, great question. There's a lot of different preservation tools out there. I think one of the greatest and easiest things you can do is just cap it tightly and keep it in the fridge. I think that if you put a white wine or a rosé in the fridge and you keep it tightened after you pour that glass, put it back in the fridge, it'll last for up to 4 days.
All right, good information. And I guess the final question is regarding age. If you're serving a younger group, the millennials, are the rules different than if you're serving like the baby boomers or the even older than that?
Yeah, that's kind of a great topic right now that we're seeing in the industry is baby boomers tend to go to those tried and true classics, while the millennials want to try different varietals. They don't want to drink what their parents are drinking, and that's fun to see. So, this is one of those opportunities where you're getting different regions, different varietals, but you're also getting some of those tried and true classic. Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon, for example, is about as classic as you can get here. And, the rosé is really kind of driven by that younger millennial generation coming up right now. And the rosé, we're actually featuring the Golden Eye Rosé. This is a first opportunity to try this wine at the Capital Grille. So we're the first people pouring this in the restaurants right now.
Really? Yeah, we had a conversation about that same phenomenon happening when the beer, what do you call it? The beer, the small beer breweries.
The craft beer movement's huge. Yeah.
Brian, thank you for being on the air with us. Can you give us a website?
Yeah, the capitalgrille.com. You can get all the information about each wine and make a reservation. You can also download the Capital Grille Concierge app, and that you can make a reservation in 2 clicks.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that makes it. We can cheat then. In other words, Brian, thank you for being on the air with us, and have fun.
Yeah, have a great summer. Cheers.
Thank you. We'll be right back.